So it looks like the former Marine, Daniel Pennies, is getting charged with manslaughter for the death of Jordan Neely after he choked him to death on the New York City train last week. There were two other guys involved that also restrained Jordan Neely. So to me, it seems like he may have a good defense because why would three people be restraining one man if he didn't do something to precipitate that happening? I just don't believe three guys rushed in and decided to restrain someone just because they were yelling things. I mean, this is the New York City train. People yell out incoherent things all the freaking time. I'm sure it pretty went. Excuse me. I'm sure that it something went left for them to think they needed to restrain this guy. And I think Penny himself had stated that he was defending himself or something or the other. I'm not sure. I'm guessing the facts of the matter will come out in the legal case, but until shown otherwise, I'm still on his side because as someone who rode and still rides public transportation, it's already a pretty claustrophobic sort of affair, and then to be stuck in a on a bus or on a train with a freaking violent psychotic who's been locked up over 44 times, was currently due to be in outpatient care through the mental health courts, but just decided to abandon doing so with no repercussions whatsoever, even though there was also an arrest warrant for him. But again, nothing was done, and it seems nothing would have been done until he actually harmed someone, as he's done in the past. And society has made it very hard to involuntarily commit people suffering severe mental illness, aka psychosis, without them, I guess, killing someone. Like someone has to basically kill someone while suffering a severe mental episode before they can be involuntarily committed. And even then, there might be a 72-hour observation before deciding on further further things to do with that person to keep them from harming other people. So that system has been broken. And I said why because back in the 70s, with the mental health reform, they decided to close many mental health institutions and make it optional for folks suffering mental illness, as if they're in a good position to make that decision themselves, to go to outpatient community health care centers. And that never really worked out. That's why you have so many roving mental patients in the city, and a lot of these people don't ever get treatment until they're incarcerated. But people are trying to equate being incarcerated in jail and prison with being involuntarily committed to a mental health institution. They are not the same. Get someone being forced to get treatment because they're not in a position to know they need to get it, and folks who are incarcerated are two different camps of folks. The problem is the only time people seem to get help is when they are incarcerated, and then their underlying mental health issues are brought to bear. But in any case, if regular folks can't defend themselves against some roving psychotic, then what does that set for precedent for the rest of us? We're just going to have to sit there on a bus and train and deal with people who are public menaces because no one wants to deal with it. People don't, and then you have people who don't want police hurting folks. You don't want people being involuntarily committed, and you don't want citizens becoming vigilantes. So there's just nothing to be done. I don't believe in that. Again, I think two things can hold mutually true at the same time. We can recognize that people who are suffering severe mental illness are not morally responsible for many of their actions that they commit while suffering these severe episodes of psychosis, but at the same time recognize that uh, most people shouldn't have to be in fear of these people just because we know that there's no mens rea going on with these folks that make them criminally culpable. Like, no, we don't have to be held hostage to psychotics just because we recognize that they're not in the right state of mind in what they're doing. No more than people need to be. Um, I don't want to be cruel and say and compare people to animals, but I am. So yeah, it's no more than, if I see a freaking uh, aggressive dog or other sort of animal, say a wild animal, intent on attacking me, that I should have to just take it just because, well, the animal doesn't know any better. They have no evil intent. So that doesn't mean I have to be bodily harmed or killed because the animal doesn't have evil intent. I don't give a fuck. So I hope Daniel Penny beats the case because it looks like he has a good shot of showing that the guy was intent on harming him or others on that train. And if not, okay. So I guess we're going to say that anyone who defends themselves against people who are mentally ill are now being vigilantes. I mean, I guess that is Batman and Joker in a nutshell, but no, in all seriously, no, it's not funny though. But um, it's a shame. But I know everyone's in an uproar because people fall on it from different sides politically. I'm looking at it apolitically. I'm looking at someone who has to be stuck on a bus or a train with some nut job threatening people or threatening me, and I'm just trying to get to work or I'm just trying to get home. And when you look at it that way, if you look past the politics, you'll see that the guy probably had some justification for what he did. I'm not sure if he was justified in keeping that chokehold on the person until he died, because most people who are trained in, you know, grappling know when to let go of a person. But again, I don't know what happened on that train, and none of us do as well, except for the people who were there. So we'll see.